Welcome to the Ravello Gear Room. I am really glad that you're here. In this video, I'm going to show you everything that I put in my pack for a 9-day canoe trip. So whether you're going on the Ravello Voyager adventure with me or heading off on your own, this is your complete gear and clothing canoe camping trip guide. All right, let's start with t-shirts. I like these Patagonia Capilene shirts. I've got one in green, one in blue. These are really good because they're super soft, they dry fast, and they have some sun protection in them. But really any athletic shirt will work well, something that you would run in or hike in or work out in. I take two in my pack, one to wear, and then if it gets super wet, I've got a dry one. And then as soon as one gets really stinky or dirty, these are super easy to rinse out in the lake. And I'm gonna have one of these on, so that makes 3 total t-shirts for a 9-day canoe trip, which I find is pretty much the sweet spot. All right, now let's move on to shorts. I like these Patagonia Quandary shorts for several reasons. One is that they are super quick dry, and remember, you're gonna be wearing these every day in and out of the water multiple times, so they're kind of double as a swimsuit. So you want something that's gonna dry really fast, and you also want something that's gonna be comfortable. I like these because they have lots of pockets. They also have belt loops, which is really important to me because when you're taking packs on and off and you're getting in and out of the canoe and you're swimming, it's easy for your trunks to fall down. So I wear one of these nylon belts. They are very lightweight, they dry fast, they're not very expensive. And pro tip, you can also wear these through airport security. All right, I want to talk about the next layer, adding a little bit of something over your t-shirt when things cool down. And they're basically 3 different levels of layers that all go to over my t-shirt depending on how cold it's actually getting. If it's getting pretty cold, which is usually earlier in the morning or toward the evening, I'll go ahead and put on this hoodie. I like this NRS hoodie. It is thick, it is soft, it is super comfortable, and it's one of the warmest hoodies that I own. I like it because it has sun protection, and I think that's a high value for any kind of hoodie that you take into the backcountry. If it's not quite as cold and I don't need a hoodie, I'll go for a long sleeve sun shirt. This is from O'Neill, and I find that a lot of surfing shirts, swimming shirts, have that quick dry SPF protection. And then if it's not quite so cold, but I'm feeling a little bit nippy, or I want some extra sun protection, particularly on my head and neck, I will go for this lightweight OR sun hoodie. I can wear this almost the same as a t-shirt, but this provides sun protection that my t-shirt won't. So these are 3 different types of ways that you can layer up over your t-shirts. Pants are really, really important because it does get cool at night and it is cool in the morning. So you've got to have a pair of pants. And you need a pair of pants that are also quick drying because chances are we're going to have at least a few cool days in the canoe on the water where you're going to want to wear pants instead of shorts. And that's why my favorite pair of pants are these NRS guide pants, but they're all sorts of pants you can find that are nylon or nylon polyester blend. Just don't do cotton. No jeans, no khakis. You really need something that's gonna dry quickly, and something that has a little bit of sun protection in it is a bonus too. Also, having pockets is really helpful. And I always carry a second pair of pants. That way, if I'm wearing pants during the day and they're wet and I come in to camp in the evening, I've got a pair of dry pants that I will never wear in the canoe. These will always be my camp pants, my dry pants for the morning and for the evening. These Fjallravens are a little bit heavier, they're very durable, and I find them to be extremely comfortable. If I'm going at a time of year where it's not going to be quite as cold at night or in the morning, I'm bringing these cool revolver pants. Again, these are cotton, but that's okay. It's just around the camp. They're not going to get wet. This is my favorite pair of pants ever. But again, it's the pants that are most comfortable for you. You're going to be wearing them every morning, every evening. Just make sure that they're comfortable, that they're quick dry, and that they're durable enough to make it for the whole trip. Absolutely no jeans, they'll just sink you. And then you're gonna need a pair of rain pants. Oftentimes we'll pull the canoes over because a thunderstorm blows in, or at night at camp it'll be raining, or in the morning when we're having breakfast it'll be raining. And so you need a pair of rain pants that are going to keep your legs warm and dry. I recommend a pair from REI. And if you want to scale up your pants, I wear these really incredible pants from Filson. They are the Filson rain pant. They are absolutely super comfortable. They've got belt loops, an expandable waistband, snap, waterproof zipper, and plenty of pockets with waterproof zippers on them too. You're going to need a pair of rain pants. You're going to need a pair of warmer camp pants, and you're going to need a pair of lightweight, quick dry, sun protection if you can, pants to wear in the canoe on cooler days. So I'm going to take these NRS guide pants, these Filson rain pants, and these cool revolver pants. And what I'll do is I'm just going to take these in my bag with me. And on the night before I go out, I'm going to check the weather. And if it looks like we're going to get into some cooler weather and I need these pants, I'll just take these cools out of my pack and I'll put in the Fjallravens. So pro tip, always take a little bit extra gear so that you have the flexibility. If it's warmer or it's colder, you can adjust appropriately. And that's what we do on the Voyager adventure trip. I have all my participants lay out all their gear on their beds the night before we go out. And I go around and I check and make sure that they have everything that they need so they don't get out in the middle of nowhere and not have something essential. And speaking of cooler weather, I always pack, but don't always take into the backcountry a base layer. And the night before you go out, you can decide whether or not to put it in your backpack. In case you're interested in purchasing any of this gear, I'll be sure to leave all the links below. You gotta pack underwear. And I love merino wool underwear. That's right, no, it's not hot, it's not swampy. It is incredibly lightweight and breathable, and it's odor resistant. I love these three kinds of merino wool underwear. One is from this brand called Metarino. I really like it. These are a little bit larger, but this is probably a medium-sized weight. The other one that I like is from Marawool. This is a little bit heavier weight. And then for a lighter weight, this Ridge merino wool underwear is really nice too. If you treat them well and wash them correctly, they'll last you a long time. And if you haven't tried merino wool underwear, it's worth an experiment. So I've got 3 pairs of underwear. 1 pair is going to be on my body when I go out, and that leaves 2 pairs in my pack in case some disaster happens. Let's hope that doesn't. Which brings me to shoes and socks. Shoes and socks are absolutely essential to get right on a canoe camping trip. Protecting your feet is one of the most important things that you can do in the backcountry. And that starts with a great pair of socks that aren't going to rub blisters and are going to dry super quickly. I carry 2 different types of socks in the backcountry. I carry a water sock. These are Randy Sun water socks. You can get these fairly inexpensively on Amazon. I carry a short pair that's just an ankle high, and for colder days I carry a longer pair that go up almost to my kneecaps. I also take 2 pair of wool socks. I'm a huge fan of Darn Tough. They're made in Vermont and they just hold up well. I take these on every single backpacking and canoe trip. I wear these at night around the campfire. I wear these in the morning when I'm getting up and cooking breakfast. And a lot of people wear these with their water shoes because they're super comfortable and they're warm. Water socks for me during the day, 2 pair of socks that I'm wearing around the campfire in the morning and in the evenings, and I have a backup in case I need to wear one of these during the day. I highly recommend the water socks, and any kind of wool sock will do, but Darn Tough is darn tough to beat. You're gonna need 2 pair of shoes for canoe camping. Your first pair of shoes is going to be your water shoes. These need to be lightweight. They need to be able to drain and dry quickly. I like these Estrellas. They're really good. They're basically canvas. They've got a lot of drainage in them and they have really nice grips. It's really important to get these water shoes right because not only are they going to be wet on your feet all day, but you're also going to be carrying a backpack over a Portage in them several times a day. So they need to be comfortable, they need to be sturdy, and they need to be grippy no open-toe shoes, no Crocs. And you're also gonna need some camp shoes, which is why I really like the Tevas. I like these for several reasons. They're comfortable, they're easy to get on and off when you're getting out of the tent or the hammock. And I can wear them with wool socks in the morning or the evening when it's cooler. But right when I get off of the water and I take off my wet water shoes and my wet socks, I will wear these Tevas without socks, and it helps dry my feet out. And drying your feet for a while before you put on those wool socks is really helpful to prevent foot rot. And make sure that they're durable enough, because you'll be wearing them in and out of the woods, collecting firewood and doing various chores. So they do need to be supportive, and they need to hold up for you. And the other reason I like these Tevas is because they're a great emergency backup. Think about it. If your water shoes blow out, get torn up, or melt accidentally by the campfire, it's happened. You're gonna have to wear your camp shoes as your backup shoes in the canoe and on portages for the rest of the trip. So you're gonna wanna make sure that your camp shoes are durable and sturdy and will dry relatively quickly. And there's some off-brand sandals that aren't near as expensive as Tevas that'll work just fine. And just like your feet are important, your hands are important too. And so you're gonna need a really good pair of work gloves. Any work gloves are fine. I prefer leather work gloves. I actually have some that are lined and some that are unlined. Again, game day decision the night before I go out. I like these Giver gloves. They're super comfortable, super durable. But whatever gloves work for you to collect firewood, process firewood, pick up hot handles off the fire, you're just gonna need a sturdy, durable pair of work gloves. You also might want a pair of canoeing gloves, kayaking gloves. These are not essential at all, but they are super helpful, because oftentimes you can get a little bit of a blister on the inside of your palm, and these will help prevent that significantly. These are NRS guide gloves, but there are all sorts of gloves like this you can buy. Just make sure you measure your hand and size them correctly. Definitely bring a bandana. A bandana is a very practical and helpful piece of clothing. You can clean your sunglasses with it. You can wear it as a do-rag for a little sun protection, or in case your hair gets super nappy. It's also good for filtering things, and you can wash your face with it. You can pick up hot things with it. This is just a key item that you should have. Ooh, what about jackets? You're gonna need two different jackets. You're gonna need a waterproof outer layer rain shell, and you're gonna need an inner insulation layer, either fleece or down, to help keep you warm. This is an example of a down jacket. This is 850 fill goose down. It is super warm. Sometimes this is all I need. It's great in the morning and great in the evening. I prefer down because it's lightweight, it's incredibly compressible, and it's very, very warm. Although a fleece jacket works really, really well. And for a rain shell, just make sure it's got a hood, it's waterproof, it has plenty of pockets. Get one that's comfortable and roomy enough that you can put a layer or two underneath it. Both of these are going to be necessary for an extended canoe camping trip. And that leaves your beanie, the most slept on article of backcountry clothing. The beanie is super important, especially when it's cold in the morning and cold in the evening, and also to sleep in. So get one that's not itchy, that's comfortable. If you're interested in some specific video reviews on some of these articles of clothing, I do have a video on the best down jackets. I have a video on the best waterproof rain jackets. I have a video on the best hiking pants to wear, including hiking shorts. I've got a video on the 5 best beanies to buy, and I've got a video on the best merino wool underwear to wear. So you can check out my channel for more reviews of high quality outdoor clothing. And don't forget to download my free guide of all the best high quality outdoor gear and clothing that I recommend. The link is below. Now, as far as packing is concerned, it's important to have a really good strategy. A lot of your jackets will stow in their own pocket. It's important to keep your rain shell jacket easily accessible. So it's not gonna go in my pack. It's gonna go on the top of my pack or in an easily accessible outside pocket of my pack. Same with my rain pants. I wanna be able to get to them quickly. Everything else can be stuffed into a backpack. And for a canoe camping trip, I put all of my clothing inside a dry bag. A dry bag is 100% waterproof. It carries a lot of clothing It's easily compressible, and it's got a roll top 3 times with a clip. And there is no air, no water getting in this. So that is all the clothing you need for 9 days. And it's safe in this dry bag. And if you make it all the way to the end of the video, I'll show you how I pack and unpack my backpack. All right, now let's move on to gear. You are either gonna need a tent or a hammock and a tarp. That's Maverick crunching on his bone in the background. If you're coming on the Revelo Voyager adventure and you do not have a tent or a hammock, one can be provided for you. You also need a really good sleeping pad. Don't forget your headlamp. I recommend you carry a Swiss Army knife or a multi-tool. This is not necessary, but a silky saw is really helpful for clearing up around your tent or your hammock site and processing wood for the campfire. And it's really good to have a small first aid kit. A cup for breakfast and dinner. Make sure you've got one with a secure lid on it. That way you can also dry it out and store your headlamp in it. I also carry a bowl. This is good for oatmeal in the morning, soup at night. It's compressible. That goes well together. And then, of course, the spork. You gotta love the spork. For water filtration, I really like this Sawyer Canoe collaboration. It rolls up nicely, stores easily. It's got a backwash filter syringe and a new adaptation that allow this to be a gravity filter. Don't forget your hat. I recommend 2 Nalgene water bottles. And for cooking, I love the MSR Titan kettle and the MSR stove. And fuel and the stove nest nicely into the kettle. You'll need a good compressible sleeping bag, synthetic or down. Pro tip, always store your sleeping bag in a dry bag because the last thing in the world you want is a wet sleeping bag. Don't forget your personal items, toothbrush, toothpaste, medications, sunscreen, hand sanitizer, anything that you would take in your personal adopt kit, contacts, glasses, all the things necessary for your personal hygiene. And finally, your Bungholio bag. I actually haven't unpacked this since my last trip. But clearly I didn't use it all. In a Ziploc bag, I got toilet paper, wet wipes, and hand sanitizer. The wet wipes are biodegradable. They are not necessary, but they certainly are helpful in case you get into some bacteria or a virus and end up having a blowout. I carry all of this in a waterproof Ziploc bag inside a brightly colored stuff sack, which I always hang underneath my tarp or rain fly right outside my tent or hammock where it's easily accessible. Bro, don't forget your chair. Super important in the morning and the evenings when we are sitting around the campfire having breakfast, when we're sitting around the campfire having dinner, when we stop for lunch, and even when you're paddling in the canoe to give you a little tush support and certainly the much needed back support, you gotta have a camp chair. I do not like camp chairs with legs. I like Crazy Creek camp chairs. Yes, it means I'm on the ground, but I find these to be very comfortable. I can rock myself in them. They're lightweight, they're easy to carry, and I can take them in and out of the canoe very easily. You cannot use a regular camp chair in a canoe. You can use a Crazy Creek. There are 2 types of Crazy Creeks that I like. The original or the original with the long back is super nice. It's a little wider and has a higher back, so it's better for bigger guys like me. But last spring, Crazy Creek came out with this 2nd edition of their canoe seat. Oh my goodness. This is so nice. Super cushy, waterproof, and unlike the regular Crazy Creek, the canoe chair has these lashes on the bottom that enables you to secure it to the seat of the canoe. And so lots of support, very comfortable when you're canoeing, back support when you're canoeing, and you can take this out of the canoe at the end of the day and use it around the campfire just fine. you gotta have a chair. Don't forget your sunglasses, and I would encourage you to bring your sunglasses in a case. Just about any pair of sunglasses will do. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these, but I do recommend that they are dark enough to protect your eyes from the sun. You are going to be in the sun all day long. And also I recommend you get polarized lenses. It just helps you see in the water and under the water a little bit better. There's several brands that make sunglasses specifically for use on the water. Smith, Oakley, Costa. Make sure you get some kind of way to keep these sunglasses around your neck so that when you're not wearing them or you need to take them off really quickly, you don't lose them. Sunglasses are key. I almost forgot the journal. I always encourage people to take a journal into the backcountry. You can get a hardbound journal, a softbound journal, all sorts of different sizes. I like the Write in the Rain waterproof journal and the Write in the Rain waterproof pens. And if you're interested in learning how to journal in the backcountry as a way of rest and renewal, check out this video and I'll walk you through some pro tips on how to get the most out of journaling on your next adventure trip. If you're coming on the Ravello Voyager adventure and you need a tent or a sleeping pad, I would be happy to provide that for you. And you won't need to bring any of your personal cooking equipment. I've got all the cooking equipment necessary for the entire group. Which is a nice segue to backpacking food. And in this video, I'm not gonna go into all of the best backpacking food that you should take on a canoe camping trip because I've already done a video review on that. Check out this video and it'll answer all your questions and provide a really good overview of the best backpacking food you should take on your next canoe trip. So now I've got my hammock and tarp and sleeping pad with my sleeping bag in this dry bag, keeping everything safe and dry. All right, there's two options for a backpack. A regular backpack is a great idea as long as you're using these dry bags because a regular backpack is going to be comfortable and sturdy and it's going to be really nice on the portages. Your second option is to go for a portage pack or a waterproof backpack. What I have here is a waterproof backpack. This is a Sea to Summit Big River 75 liter backpack. Say hi, Mav. You make a friend? You want to go with me? On the Ravello Voyager adventure, we carry all of our food in its own unique backpack, and we take turns carrying that backpack across the portage. It's really important to carry all of your food in its own backpack. That does two things. One, it keeps the spills and the smells away from your clothing. And two, it makes it easier to bear proof because you're going to be hanging this on a rope every single night before you go to bed. So I hope this was helpful and you're more clear and you're more confident about the gear and clothing that you need to put in your pack for your next canoe adventure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I read every one of them and your feedback is super helpful to me. Watch these videos next and check out one of my epic adventure trips at www.revello.live, R-E-V-E-L-O.live. And remember, don't just buy great outdoor gear and clothing, get out there and use it.